February is American Heart Month, and February 5th is National Wear Red Day in an effort to call attention to the fact that heart disease remains the #1 cause of death here in the U.S. and around the world. I'm Sarah Pila, and I'll tell you about one survivor's story of heart attack and also show you data that suggests that heart attacks are on the rise in younger women. Making dinner for her family has bigger meaning these days for Sindi Mafu after she suffered a heart attack in August. The day she was admitted to the hospital, she didn't know if she'd ever see her husband and kids again.
That made me very much grateful for every moment I have with them.
Sindi was cleaning her home when she started sweating, felt dizzy, then felt a crushing pain on her chest. Her husband called 911, but an EKG by paramedics showed nothing looked alarming.
And they said, oh, you are fine. Whatever is happening to you is not heart related. Your EKG is normal.
But 15 minutes after the paramedics left, the pain worsened and her husband took her to the ER. A new EKG report showed her heart rhythm was off, so the cardiologist was called and she learned she suffered a heart attack.
In that moment when she told me that, I think that's when it really hit me, and I was just devastated and crying my eyes out.
Sindi was only 37 and didn't have any risk factors, but she was diagnosed with spontaneous coronary artery dissection after a procedure confirmed a tear in her artery. Dr. Karol Watson is a professor of medicine and cardiology at UCLA and says new research shows that heart attacks are on the rise in younger women.
Over the course of about a decade or so, the percentage of young women having heart attacks went from about 25% to about 32%.
The study also found that high blood pressure and diabetes were rising among all patients who had heart attacks. But while 80% of cardiac events can be prevented through education and lifestyle changes, Sindi lived a healthy lifestyle and didn't have heart disease. For women who are healthy but still suffer a heart attack, Dr. Watson says stress is a big factor.
Especially during a pandemic, all contribute to heart disease. That's why I'm really worried about what toll this past year has taken on all of our hearts.
Nearly 6 months later, Sindi's reason for her heart attack is still under investigation. So while she waits, she's taking care of herself and spending time with her family.
I have to just live every day knowing that I'm grateful for this moment, for this day, because tomorrow is not promised.
While time isn't guaranteed, she's making every moment matter.
All right, everybody, so we're going to hop back on to health this morning. We're having some technical difficulties with this guest we're going to bring you, but she is with us now. So joining us now live via Zoom is American Heart Association volunteer expert and UCLA health cardiologist, Dr. Karol Watson. Dr. Watson, great to have you with us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure.
This work that you're doing is so important. It's so important to raise awareness. So why are initiatives that specifically target female so important?
Well, heart disease is the leading cause of death for women, period. It's more deaths from heart disease than all forms of cancer put together. So women are at risk. Some women are at even more risk. We're seeing alarming trends in some areas, especially in young women. We're seeing young women have more heart attacks, and that's something we have to reverse.
So, Dr. Watson, we just saw this piece that Sarah Pila did, and we profiled Sindi, and you were in that piece. This is a young woman who seems healthy. She's active. She gets a tear in her artery, and no one knows why. Why are women more susceptible?
So we don't know all the reasons why, but we know that risk factors that have been proven to lead to heart disease are increasing. So there are things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high stress life, things like that, that really are increasing in the society. So we have to figure out, women have to know the risk, they have to know their numbers, talk to their healthcare providers about their high blood pressure or whatever their blood pressure is, if they have high glucose, if they need to go on a specific diet or lose weight. And it's really important to know all of these things.
Yeah.
One of the other things.
Also,
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Also really important for women to know the symptoms. Anything, I always say, any abnormal symptom from your navel to your nose that comes on with exertion, either physical or emotional, and goes away with rest, you have to get it checked out. That could be your heart.
Well, can you kind of zero in on that? What do you mean? Like, Chest pains, pain in the arm, those are
Yes.
the kinds of things we normally hear. What else? When you say from the navel to the nose, like pressure
Yes.
in the chest, like a gas pain?
Exactly. Pressure and pain in the chest is the classic, but it could also be shortness of breath. It could also be abdominal pain. It could also be jaw pain. And if it comes on with exertion and then goes away with rest, you have to consider it could be your heart.
Wow.
It's good. I mean, the information's really key because some of the stuff you just described sounds like stuff that just kind of everyday things that happen with our bodies. So we got to be alert because you said too, when it comes on with that exertion of pain or like that strong pressure, that's how you know it might be a little bit different. You might need to pay attention.
Exactly. And the truth is, we can't know just from looking at you. So we have to evaluate you with blood tests and with maybe a stress test, something else. So if you have those symptoms, please seek attention.
You know what, Dr. Watson, it's interesting from a messaging standpoint. People associate heart attacks or heart disease with men. And obviously, the thing that gets most attention for women is breast cancer, but it's heart disease that is the #1 killer of women. So how do we change that so, women really know that this is one of their top risks?
That's a great question. And that's why we all go red. We want this month, Heart Month, to be a time where we all think about our hearts, where we all pay attention to our risk factors, get screened for our risk factors, understand our risk, and start to try to modify our risk. And wearing red today, Wear Red Day, is our call to action to really let everyone know heart disease is a major threat to life and we have to pay attention.
And obviously the steps, you do say it all the time, self-care, yoga, breathing.
It's really
rest.
important, and especially before we let you go here, in the midst of this global pandemic with COVID-19, you also made reference in Sarah's piece about the correlations between mental health and heart disease. So just talk really quickly before we let you go on the implications there.
That's increasingly recognized. We have been studying this for the last 5 or 10 years because we know stress affects everything, especially the heart. We know that people who are under stress are at risk for acute heart problems and chronic heart problems. So try to do the best that you can to pay attention. We have a psychologist in our center because we know how important mental health is to heart health. And our motto is move frequently, eat thoughtfully, and connect deeply. So we want you to pay attention to all
Move
of
frequently, eat thoughtfully, connect frequently.
Deeply. No,
Deeply.
Connect deeply.
Ooh, I like that. Dr. Watson, come
rock,
on.
Dr. Watson, I'm telling you right now, we're all wearing red.
Yes.
Excellent.
So
Thank you
can.
for raising awareness of heart disease.
It is
Yes.
so important. And women, we hold up 3 corners of the house. So no wonder we have some stress and some issues this way.
And there's so much additional information all women can get on the American Heart Association website. So please take a look.
We
Thank
heart
you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you so
Watson.
much, Dr. Watson. Have a beautiful weekend.
Have to protect
Thank
our
you.
queens in our community.
The princesses, the queens.
True. We love you.